Despite the Raptors still not being in any sort of position to contend, this is how Masai Ujiri still has orchestrated one of the best off seasons in the NBA. Let's get into it. Welcome NBA and Raptors fans to Amateur Hour Sports. This is a channel where you get NBA content with a focus on the Toronto Raptors at least 4 days a week. That is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. This is your Saturday episode. We're talking about Masai Ujiri and how he created one of the best off seasons in the NBA with the Toronto Raptors, and we're going to find out why. But before we get started, if you like what you see from today's video, or myself talk about the NBA and the Raptors and videos and content just like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below to show your support to the channel on our road to 6,000 subscribers. You can help us get there by subscribing. You can also check out our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/amateursports, for more content during the week where we go live. And if you can't make the streams or you simply don't want to, you can check out the Amateur Hour Clips channel where we put the best clips from those streams. Link in the description for those things. But let's get down to business for today's video, because we are talking about Masai Ujiri's offseason. Well, the Raptors offseason in general, led by Masai Ujiri. And it has quietly been one of the better off seasons in the NBA, because we have seen some pretty bad off seasons from some teams in the NBA, like, let's say, Sacramento, but the Raptors have actually put themselves in a good position here, not maybe for the right now, the here and the now, but maybe for what we can do in the future, because the Raptors recognized with this offseason that they weren't going to be able to make themselves a contender just like that. You know, we're not the Lakers. We can't just get a free agent and all of a sudden be a good team again. The Raptors are a team who slowly builds up through the draft, slowly builds up through acquiring young assets, and then, you know, right when the moment is right, we make that striking trade to change the franchise. But we're not really in that position yet, and Masai Ujiri has recognized that. But the Raptors have had a good offseason, and it starts really from the off-court stuff. And when I say off-court stuff, I mean the stuff that goes beyond the players. And the biggest thing is, well, Masai Ujiri himself. We didn't know if he was going to stay with the Raptors, but it did seem like leading up to when he signed his contract, his new contract, that it was business as usual. So we were inclined to believe he was going to sign, but there was always that seed of doubt within us. So, well, maybe he doesn't re-sign. Maybe that we have to look elsewhere. But Masai Ujiri eventually signed on the dotted line a multi-year deal worth a lot of money. I am not concerned about the money. That man deserves every penny of whatever sum of money he got within that contract. But that was the biggest thing, because, again, Masai Ujiri is the architect of this franchise. He's the architect behind the Raptors winning that 2019 NBA championship, and he won that championship based on years and years of hard work, putting together a roster that was competitive enough to be involved in the playoffs, but right when it was necessary to make that striking trade to flip the switch and pivot into that true contender status, he did it with Kawhi Leonard, Masai Ujiri. The most important thing this offseason, I said it earlier on, like right when the offseason started, I thought the most important thing for the Raptors to accomplish in this offseason is to get Masai Ujiri back on this team. The second most important thing, well, we thought that it was returning to Scotiabank Arena, and it looks like that pretty much confirmed. The Raptors will be back in Toronto, playing in front of a home crowd, playing in their home city where they belong, where they play better. They have excelled as the home team over the last half decade or so. Not last season, because it doesn't really count because we were playing in Tampa. But when the Raptors are playing at Scotiabank Arena, it is a fortress. The fans are the sixth man on the court. It has helped them through many difficult games, many difficult seasons, and I'm glad that we are back. Those are the key things. But those things are important, but we also need to worry about the on-court product with the players as well. And the biggest thing regarding the players was really going into free agency, uncertain about the future. You know, Gary Trent's contract was expiring. Kyle Lowry, we knew that it was likely he was going to leave. We didn't know what it was going to be for our centers on our team, but Kyle Lowry, we knew he was going to leave, but to get a return like Goran Dragic and Precious Achiuwa is an absolute stroke of genius from Masai Ujiri. To pick up a young center that the Raptors had already previously identified as a player they want to work with for the future, who has a lot of potential, was fantastic for a sign and trade. Also landing Goran Dragic, you know, isn't the greatest player at this present moment, but with the possibility of flipping him, and rumors are growing that Goran Dragic is going to be traded to Dallas Mavericks after October 1st for somebody like Moses Brown. So if we have have the possibility of turning Kyle Lowry, who was a free agent anyways, into Precious Achiuwa and Moses Brown, that would be phenomenal. But it's already great that we managed to get Precious Achiuwa involved. Then you go to Gary Trent, who I said the max amount of money I would be happy to give him is $18 million. That's the absolute max. And well, would have been happier if he signed for less, but it was that exact $18 million amount. But that I think is a good level. That was the max, and I'm happy we stayed within the budget that I would have set for this team. Center-wise, we bring back Ken Birch on a cheap contract. I like the fact that we have Precious Achiuwa as a nice backup. I would have liked to get a better center, but I understand why we didn't. I'm going to get into that very shortly. Then we progress to the draft, where Scotty Barnes, we all are really growing on this Scotty Barnes selection. We obviously, at the time, most of us wanted Jalen Suggs, but it turned into Scotty Barnes, and we are completely understanding why. With the skill set that he possesses, the Raptors development team have identified this player as somebody that they can get the best out of and turn him into one of the best, if not the best players from this draft, because they feel like he has the skill set that can take this team to another level as he continues to grow. Maybe not the most NBA ready player, but as he gets better and as his skills develop and as we work with him, we're going to nurture him into a great player. Looking at the second round, Delano Banton looks like a guy who's going to be involved within an NBA roster in the next few years. Not quite yet in year one, but this is somebody who definitely possesses the talent to and the potential to be involved within a Raptors rotation in the next 2 years. Jury's still out on David Johnson, but nonetheless, what we had, what we turned it into, what it could have been based on people that's contracts were done, we have done very well with the personnel. And the final thing, yes, is the future aspirations for the franchise. And I think that, again, like I said earlier, I wasn't happy we didn't go after like a true center for this team like Richaun Holmes, but I'm starting to understand why that was the case. The Raptors were not in a position where we were going to be contenders, anywhere near it. I think that the Raptors are poised to be a 7 or 8 seed in the Eastern Conference hosting a play-in tournament game. So, again, was a little bit unhappy, but since we're not really going to be that contender anyway, we don't want to lock ourselves into a long-term contract with one of these centers. We don't want to get a 4-year deal with a center like Richaun Holmes because, we have Ken Birch now and we have Precious Achiuwa on, cheaper deals. And if we can grow Precious Achiuwa into a starting center, which I believe we are capable of doing, then that would be a much better long-term option. I'm starting to understand that, we're in this position where let's just see how competitive we are with this core of players. Let's allow this group of players, a group of young players, to grow together. We have assets that we're able to trade. We have assets that we are able to flip, and we're poised to pivot at any given point. When we understand there is a striking point and a striking moment in an Eastern Conference, we have the ability to take it. Masai Ujiri has the ability to take it. But with an Eastern Conference that strengthened itself so much, and with the Toronto Raptors team not really in a position to be true competitors in the NBA, we have given ourselves a good base and a good foundation for the future with the amount of young players that we have acquired. Precious Achiuwa, I think that's an underrated transaction at this point. I think we're going to look back in a few years on that being an exceptional trade pulled off by Masai Ujiri. And Gary Trent, that's a good contract. It's one that we can work with, and it's one that, if we have to, we can work on trading in the future. I don't see it really happening at this present moment, but still, there are a lot of good assets that we can flip, a lot of things that we can do to manipulate the roster to make it even better when the moment is right. Right now is not that correct moment. The fact that we brought back the God himself, Masai Ujiri. We've gone home. We've brought in all these young players. We had a good draft. It sets us up very well for the future. And that is why this offseason has kind of under the radar been one of the best offseasons in the NBA. And how good this offseason has been will reflect itself in a few years when we understand how the foundation was laid and how we can progress onwards in the future. Tampa did set us back a few years, but we have definitely gone right back on track. We were off the rails certainly after the Tampa season, but we are headed in the right direction because of the great work by the front office, the great work of Masai Ujiri, the great work of Bobby Webster, and everybody else involved. I am hugely excited for the future of the Toronto Raptors and what we can achieve as a team. So what have you guys made of this Raptors offseason? Do you think it was a great offseason? What would you potentially grade it? I want to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below because that wraps up the video for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you are still here, be sure to hit that like button. If you did enjoy the video, really goes a long way to helping us reach some new viewers for the channel with that YouTube algorithm. It also showcases to me that you made it to the end of the video. You can also check out our Twitch, twitch.tv/amateursports for more NBA content with the folks in the Raptors. You can follow and get notified when we go live. And if you miss streams for whatever reason, you can check out the best clips from those streams on the Amateur Clips channel. Link is in the description for that. Subscribe to this YouTube channel on a road to 6,000 subscribers. You can help us get there by subscribing. It would really mean a lot if you did. Some other videos about the channel you may enjoy, and always remember, at the end of the day, believe what I say, and if you disagree, that is okay. Enjoy the grind. I'll see you again next time for another video.